Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Collective. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's good to see you. This is a really special reading because we're really into that energy of spring. Many of you are celebrating Easter, which is also an energy of renewal. And if we meet our goal today, I'll look into some areas of our life where we can maybe reinvent ourselves or hit the reset button. But let's get into the Weekly Collective first and foremost. And if you're brand new, you picked a great day to join. Again, my name is Nicholas. Every weekend, we go through and look at messages from Spirit, a 7-day forecast. We check on the elements, and then we look at a special topic. Today, you wanted me to help you figure out which direction is next. So we'll be using the compass energy to navigate that special topic. But I'd like to begin with first saying hello to Apollo. Oops. It's not showing up because I forgot to open the app. So hold on a second. We'll pull Apollo up in a second. But before I do that, we'll just go straight into channel messages while I get that set up. So this morning, I was thinking about sort of like the ability to shift your mind and shift your timeline. That's something that I've been working with more in my own life as well. And if we feel too stuck in one way, shape, or form, it's almost as if we create... It's like you shut a door before it even opens. And I think one of the opportunities today is in allowing ourselves to just entertain a possibility of something different and something new. So if there's one area of your life that you're feeling that block in, and we'll look at it possibly later, I'd like you to just ask yourself, what if I could find a way through this? I think I just read for Taurus and the miracle card came through, and that was quite inspiring. And miracles can happen, something that basically surpasses our expectations and our limited thoughts. That's really all a miracle is. It's something that the universe can deliver. And we just didn't have the capacity to see that it could happen. And if there's ever a day that you could focus on miracle energy, this would be a great day for that. So whatever it is, it could be a challenge in your health, a challenge in your finances, a relationship struggle, creative block. What if something miraculous could come through and unblock you? Just like a tower can come in and shake things up, it can also come through and solve things for you. So as we look at the spread today, I'd really like to focus on those like eureka moments where something can shift and something can move. And I can't remember which sign I was talking to about this, but I had an experience over the past week where somebody said something that was demotivating and wrong, but it stuck in my head. And it's kind of like when you're a kid and someone tells you you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, something bad is going to happen. And there's a part of you that rejects that, but it still sits there. Nobody gets to create their timeline except for you. Like I can help give you the map. That's what we're doing today with the compass, but you're always the one that decides. So if somebody has said something or done something that has shaken your confidence, or the words just stick in your head. It was like in my head for about a good 24 to 48 hours. I talked to a couple friends and they're like, that person is baloney, like full of baloney. That doesn't make any sense. I was like, yeah, I know. But I had to sit there and sweep it out of my head. So I'd like you today to create a clean slate in your head, whatever it is that might be kind of like impeding on your ability to move forward. Let's release it today and just ask the universe, is there a better way? Is there something that I'm missing? Because oftentimes there is. And also open yourself up to create something better than someone else imagined for you. Okay? It's your life. It's your creation. And sometimes people just need to kind of like stay to the periphery, right? Connect with your inner magician and your inner high priestess today. All right? So before I get started, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, leave a comment. Let me know what's going on with you. I always like to see how these sort of resonate with you. And if you want to help us meet our goal today, you can do that. You can click the little target and any amount will help. So thank you for that. And if you ever need more information about me, you can always go to my website, find out all my socials and things like that. And if you also enjoy this and want to connect further, you can also book a reading with me from my website as well. Okay, so let's get into channeled messages. Not channeled messages, but the 7-day forecast. So this is basically us getting practical and tactical for the week ahead. And maybe one of my favorite parts because I think it helps all of us see what the week has in store for us. By the way, while I'm shuffling and getting everything set up, Just a quick note, you're going to hear some environmental noises today because my air conditioner broke and leaked on the floor, and it's been doing that for months. So I'm going to have to vacate the unit. They're going to replace everything, and I may just end up moving into another unit because of that. So that's why things have been slower this past week. And I'm going to try to push through all of the videos and get them out in a timely manner so that they're not affected by that move. Thanks for understanding. Okay, let's clear our heads. I like to always envision the sun above us, presenting some connection to source. So see the sun shining down on you, creating a circle of light around your body. Welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. Okay, let's begin with the energy for today, this Sunday. We have Page of Wands energy coming through, the Mary Tyler Moore version of it, where she's throwing the wand in the air. So there might be something that you are sitting on, an idea, a goal, a dream. And the message from Spirit is, it feels cooked, it feels ready, it's time. So this is about throwing it out into the world and saying, let's do this. Today could be a day where you actually draft up an email or send out an email and inquire about something. You could decide to learn, because pages are also inquisitive. They ask questions. And Page of Wands is very much about knowledge acquisition. Page of Swords is more about delivery, but the Page of Wands is feeding their mind. So you could ask questions, you could read, you could research, you could go watch a movie or listen to a podcast and get inspired. Anything that you want to do to really set things into motion. We see that beautiful circular motion there, almost hinting at a wheel of fortune that will happen, provided that you follow through on the idea. So the Ace of Wands eventually becomes, after all 9 cards after it, the page where it's like, let's do this, it's baked, it's ready, okay? Also, there may be someone in your life that's inspiring for you. So if you see something that you want or see someone doing something that you want, let that be the sort of spark or the kindling to get you to the next level. And this is a great day to write something down in your journal, send out a note, and any sort of communication about something that you really want to get moving. This is the day to start the planning, okay? Good day, lots of energy coming through. Like I said, we're in spring, or I guess fall in the Southern Hemisphere. We just shifted through seasons. And again, there's a renewal energy today, especially with all of the people celebrating Easter. Whether or not you celebrate it, it doesn't matter. The energy on the planet is connected to rebirth, reinvention, and something new, something different, okay? So let's not rinse and repeat. Let's try new things. Now, let's take a look here at Monday, because it's an important card, and I love this version of Justice, because for those of you that hate reversals, this shows you what comes through on a reversal, which is an alternate meaning. So the card is reversed, but her eyes are wide open. Lady Justice here sees what isn't working, and she highlights it. She says, wait a second, what's this? Wait a second, I don't want to do this. Or simply, no. She is constructively critical, she is clear, and she is direct. And her eyes are wide open. She's not worried about shaking the boat, shaking the tree, making things uncomfortable. Sometimes you have to get uncomfortable to create change. So be it. Severing of ties, fighting for injustice, speaking up, speaking out, and not watering things down. So, valuable lessons here on Monday. When the card is in the upright position, it usually represents equilibrium. So something has been shifted, and it's time for you to reclaim balance, to create better harmony, better not synchronicities. You'll create one because you do this, but there's another word that I want to think of here, but harmony is good enough. Harmony and balance, that's what I was trying to think of. Because the balance can represent work-life balance or something in your life that you've been sacrificing, but now is the time to say, you know what, I deserve all of this and then some, okay? Fight for yourself, fight for others, speak up, say no. In work, business, and conversations, unless it's revolving around that, I would hold off on that day, because you may still be recalibrating your own balance, and we don't want to get in too much of an emotional state if you're having an important conversation. So take care of yourself, get enough rest, exercise, And that is going to help you in all aspects of your life. Okay? All right. Let's look at Tuesday. 6 of Pentacles coming through. Now we actually see balance. It's missing from this card. I'm going to pull it here while we're talking. But what I like about this is the highlight of discernment. So we see it is give and take. This is showing both parts kind of like in an equal position. But with this, you may find yourself kind of like in a position where people are interested in getting more from you, more information, more work, more time, more energy. It's important for you to choose wisely. When I'm looking at financial cards, the Six of Pentacles is the beginning of things getting better. And it's after a period of challenge, like particularly like the Two of Pentacles when you're pulled in all directions. So you have enough, but you have to make smart decisions and not overextend. That's often hard because the people that sometimes we have to say no to can be closest friends, family members, or just people that won't take no for an answer. So I got this one because you actually see the scales, and we just talked about it. So achieving balance, kind of on your feet now, but still getting your bearings and deciding, okay, let me try this, let me try that. You're still perfecting things a little bit. For negotiation, you can get a little bit more of what you want, but it's not everything. Compromise is the key to this. Discernment is the key, and less is more. You don't want to overextend, okay? But what I do see happening here is finally maybe catching your breath after some challenges and feeling a sense of it's going to get better. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's also the way that you want to have conversations with other people, is trying to find commonalities and speaking from the affirmative and positive rather than going immediately to something negative. You can also say with this, by the way, not now, but later. So you can push something off to a few days from now, a few weeks from now. You can ask for, I can do this for you, but I need help from you on this. So it can be bartering too. Find a way that it's mutually beneficial, and that's really what this card is all about. Big changes. Huge, to quote Julia Child from, what was that, Pretty Woman? So death and rebirth. Speaking of like what was going on, that person was misinterpreting a death message as this, and what they missed in my own experience, in my own conversation, they weren't looking at death being both a closure and an opening. So that phrase where like when one door opens or one door closes, another opens is very much true. Sometimes we have to get out of something and create some space in our life in order to be open to something bigger, better, and brighter. And if we hold on to something, the devil, you know, like the Four of Pentacles, then we'll never be able to see the other side. So it's hard to let go. It's hard to sort of sit for a second and not see something progress. But that's typically just a pivot, just the tip of the iceberg. So if you can allow yourself to move through the discomfort of change, which is also death, or lack, know that it's just setting the stage and it's giving you context for more. So ends and beginnings on Wednesday. One thing or one person may kind of like exit out of your life, but something or someone better could be coming into your life as well. So hold space for this. You could be pleasantly surprised. Making and breaking of cycles, delivering something. This is also a card of like graduating, because whenever you get married or get divorced or graduate or retire, you're almost like on your own volition ending one thing and beginning something new. It's a perfect example of ends and beginnings, death and rebirth. Also, like carrying the theme of resurrection throughout this week, you can reinvent yourself. You're only as stuck as you believe you are. And that's why I think it was really important to begin today's reading with, how can I put this best? But just sort of like not giving people's words too much weight, particularly if there's something about it that you instinctively know, I don't think so. I want you to listen to that. Whether it's a teacher, a friend, even a doctor where you think you need a second opinion, there might be a better way. And what seems like it's the end of the world could be a wonderful new beginning. I was talking to one of my friends who had a series of synchronicities the other day, and they watched the movie Amelie, which is about synchronicities, and I need to rewatch it. It's been eons. But it kind of reminds you to just tune in and pay attention to signs and symbols. Sometimes it can come through in a song on the radio. on a license plate, something that someone says as they pass by that reminds you of someone. Spirit, the reason I'm going into this, someone on the other side, a parent, a loved one, could be trying to communicate with you using some of the environmental cues. It doesn't always come through clairaudience or clairvoyance. Sometimes it's an obvious external cue. And it's like, wake up, do this. You're on the right track, or don't do this, because it's words of wisdom that someone that you love would convey. So particularly around the midweek point, look at winks from spirit and see if it's trying to get your attention. And you can ask, by the way, for an incontrovertibly clear sign, like show me without a shadow of a doubt that this is it, or show me that I shouldn't. I remember looking at one of the apartments that I was thinking of moving into at the end of last year, and there was like a bullet hole in the window, and I was like, this isn't it. Literally, this is not it. And so sometimes we have to look for symbols. They're not always that clear, but sometimes they are, okay? All right, coming through on Thursday is, we just talked about it. Here's the end, here's the beginning. So something new comes into your life. You may also have more energy to put time and effort into things because you closed a chapter on the other day, on the Death and Rebirth card from Wednesday. So they are representing the Ace of Pentacles as a seed or a bulb. For those of you that are gardeners, you know that oftentimes with bulbs, you will plant it 1 to 2 seasons before. So for like spring daffodils and crocus, you're going to be putting it in the fall, basically, before frost hits, so that they can get their roots in there, and then you put some mulch over it, and it's 2 seasons ahead because you got to go through winter and then spring. So you may be looking at something that's coming in a couple weeks or a couple of months or the next season, but you're planting the seed on Thursday. Not everything has to be immediate when we get an ace, particularly this one. Also, like it can represent getting pregnant, something like that. You know, it takes even longer. It takes 3/4 of a year. So give it time. Don't rush. Just keep planting. I would say start on Thursday, but plant multiple seeds of opportunity and goals in your life so that you'll have things blooming every season, energetically, symbolically. And that's what you also do as a gardener. You plant in the fall, you plant in the spring, you plant in the summer, so that there's going to be a full year garden. And if you're in a zone where there's light winters, there might even be something that can grow in the winter. Think about aces as, well, we have 4 aces for the 4 seasons. So start planning for 4 seasons, not just for this one. And this is really about long-term planning, something I probably wouldn't have gotten to if I didn't see the seed, but I want you to start thinking about the next 4 quarters of the year, okay? All right. There also could be someone presenting you with job opportunity, invitation, or interest. It can represent interest as well, okay? Now, let's take a look here at Friday. So we have a reversed Emperor card, and someone could be vying for power, attention, control. It's all of the aforementioned. I think the important thing here is it doesn't have to get emotional. When I was dealing with all the stuff going on with my AC, I'm no stranger to challenges. For whatever reason, I had all my ducks in a row, and I'm like, I've been through this, and I know what should be done and what shouldn't. Like, they wanted to do a bunch of stuff while I was in here. I'm like, no, that's not going to be safe. I have allergies. My dog has allergies. No, we're not going to do that. And anyway, I kept pushing because it's not my first rodeo. And so you have to kind of like lean into experience. So you may be emotionally triggered by something going on in your career, in your relationship, in your home, but breathe, plant your feet on the ground, and just think to yourself, what can I do that is going to make this easier for all of us? And speak from a place of power, authority, and experience. That is what's going to help you land on your feet and not kind of get flustered, because it's really not worth it, okay? Reclaim power. Don't give too much power to thoughts that are kind of like a tower moment, like I just talked about. Think instead. Get into your inquisitive mode. I never understood the sort of like blessings of studying journalism, but I do now because I always question things. So in a situation like this, how did it start? What's the next step? What can I do? What other options exist? Is this fair? Like, I just ask questions and I get answers, and then I inform myself with those answers. So whenever you're feeling stuck, go into journalist mode and ask insightful questions. That will help lead you out of this and get you back into your power, okay? And sometimes you do need to fight. You do need to fight for equality, for someone to listen to you, etc. Lest we forget, there's also a chess piece here. And what I was just talking about with the ace is equally true with the king. He's thinking a couple of, and that's what an emperor is anyway, but he's thinking a couple of moves ahead. Not just today, not just now. This week is very much getting you to look beyond now. So it's the now and the next, but we really have to look at the next too, okay? Let's take a look at the upcoming weekend. On Saturday, we have Seven of Wands, favorite Seven of Wands card in the reverse position. This is what you're aiming for, but it might be hard to get there. This comes usually on the heels of success, Six of Wands. But what we see here is someone that's being, and again, you're going to hear environmental noise, so sorry about that. What we're seeing here is someone that is probably getting a lot coming through. People are trying to get more from them. They may have more scrutiny because they've just been through a successful moment. What she's doing is finding a way to not let it get to her and not let it sap out her solar plexus. Meditation, which is going on in this illustration, is one of the ways that you can shift things around. So that's step one. The other thing here is you don't have to get defensive immediately. You can just let someone talk a little bit, take it in, ask a question, get clarity, and you can fight the good fight or fight what's worth fighting for. Sometimes, like the siren in the background, it's just noise or it's somebody going off, and it will go away just like this will as well. So let someone say what they need to say and then decide, is this worth getting my feathers in a sort of mess for this? And it may not be, okay? She is not getting hot and bothered. And the traditional Seven of Wands, he's kind of holding the card like this and looking worried. So lean on your experience. And remember, I was telling another friend this the other day, we are all ancient souls. We've been through this before, multiple times, dozens, hundreds, thousands, depending on how old your soul is. So just trust in the knowledge that you have and know that you're going to find the way, okay? All right. If you are doing any exercise, don't overdo it. Don't lift things that are too heavy. Don't take on more emotionally than you need to, because this can lead to stress and strain. And now we have 1, 2, 3. This is another balance card. So the difference, and we're looking at next Sunday. With the Two of Pentacles, you have to make a choice. Usually we see the person in an imbalanced posture. Sometimes it's a person on a tightrope. Sometimes it's someone in front of the ocean trying to get their footing. And here we just see someone torn between two different things. We see like a purse here and then something etheric in the background. She's trying to choose between the practical and the predictable and something that her heart wants. There's no right or wrong answer for any of you, but you really need to make a choice rather than pull yourself in two directions. This is a day where multitasking isn't going to work as well. Delegate, focus, and make sure that you are hydrated, well rested, that you are doing things. We might even do it today, like between the 7-day forecast and the elements, or the elements and the main topic. But one thing that I've started doing is stretching after sitting so long, because I sit for so much. So every half an hour, every hour, I'll get up and just stretch and breathe. And we can do that as a meditation in these two, for my health and for yours. All right. When it comes to money, don't overextend yourself. If you are traveling, there might be some delays. And in your general sort of energy with resources, it's important for you to look at if you're getting enough back, or if it's just feeling like you're constantly pulled between two extremes. So budgeting will be very, very helpful. It's not always easy. It's not always fun, but there's a lot to be gained by doing that. So if you're feeling so inspired, I would encourage you to look at the budget, make a choice, and you'll be happy that you did. Let's go ahead and take a look at highlights and challenges, and then we'll move on to the next portion, and then we'll maybe do a quick stretch after that, okay? So highlights for this period of time. I actually feel like there's something magical happening between Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday may feel a little overwhelming, but I feel like some of you could get a nod from guides or spirit, and then clarity comes through, and I think Thursday is the highlight of the week. Today's a really good day for brainstorming, though, by the way. Your challenging days, Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, because they're all about achieving balance. The rest of this is pretty manageable. Just remember to use the word no if something doesn't feel right, and to use your voice. That was something that I recently talked about for one of the signs. I'm like, it's important for us to use our voices to speak up and, not to underestimate the power of our voices, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get back into the reading here. I'd like to focus on the next portion, which is going to be the elements. So in all of these readings, I always like to check in on all of these signs quickly. Like I said, I'll be putting up all the sign-by-sign readings this week. So patience, I appreciate it. And again, it's just been challenging, but at least this time I caught it before anything formed like mold. It's just water damage, which is going to hopefully be repaired. All right, so let me decide which deck of cards I'd like to use on this. Okay, I think I know what I want. All right, hold on a second. And now we're having, oh, by the way, I figured out why we were having all of those problems with my computer last week. It was the moisture. So my sensor in my Macintosh was picking up that there was actually something going on in the environment, and that alerted me. I also had a crazy dream, which I think I told you guys. So give me a second here, because for some reason, this is misbehaving. So I'm trying to get everything to work here. All right, we're just going to leave it for now. Having some technical problems again here. Fire, earth, air, and water. All right, we're going to start off first with fire signs. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, we have the Four of Cups in the reverse position. As we can see, if we look closely, there's a cup right in front of him, but he's focusing on could've, would've, should've. So with the Four of Cups, I often like to interpret this as a blessing in disguise. If something isn't going as anticipated or as expected, the Four of Cups shares some commonality with the Hanged Man. We're supposed to sit in that moment and look around a little bit and say, wait, have I seen this from all perspectives? Is there something easier, more beneficial, or literally just kind of like right in front of me, ready for the picking? If so, then this is a chance for you to pivot and embrace something that may have been timed inconveniently, but nonetheless is coming through as a blessing for you, a blessing in disguise, okay? The other thing with this is you may be tempted to compare yourself to someone else in a similar age range or career path, and you're looking at what they've got and thinking like, why don't I have that? Why can't I have that? And it may simply be a matter of timing or alignment, or kind of like releasing that need to control it and instead say, well, maybe I will. Maybe it will happen, but maybe I'm supposed to sit here for a second or explore something else. And you can start to look beyond the expectation that you're supposed to have this done by this age at this place. Life is not as neat as that. It's good to have plans, but if you live only in plans or comparison, it creates the discomfort and the disconnect that we see in the Four of Cups. You may also be feeling boredom or disillusionment. Boredom is actually a gift, because if you're bored, you can daydream and you can start to think about what you want. So if we can look at boredom as a blessing, and if we can look at disillusionment as a key to understanding that this isn't it, then you can start to think about what is good for you, what is the right path. All of the feelings are beneficial. They're not all good and fun to go through, but they are all beneficial. So connect with the feeling and ask yourself, how did I get here? Back into the journalist mode. Probe a little deeper like your own therapist would do and just say, hey, is there something that I could do? Is there something that I'm missing? This is a week to possibly find something right in front of you, something easier, something closer than you imagine. There's a blessing in disguise. So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, keep your eyes and ears peeled, because it may be better than you think. And that's actually a good silver lining read of the Four of Cups. Okay, moving on from the fire signs to the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We have the Knight of Swords, but it was reversed. Speak up, edit, review, revise as necessary. Listen as much as you're speaking because you can gain so much insight by what someone's saying. She's using the sword as a tool, not a weapon. Words can lift up or they can deflate. It's so much better when they inspire. And so there are so many ways to deliver news, bad news or difficult news in particular. What I always try to do with everybody in my life, if I can, is empower them to thrive. So if I see even like a challenging card, this is not one of them, but if I saw a challenging card, I would say, it seems like there might be a better way than this. Look at this and this. Why aren't we trying that out? That's some of what we're going to be doing in the compass later today. So allow yourself to learn from difficulty and, find a new way, chart a new path. And this is very much connected to the compass energy too. Write things down, by the way. Whenever I have an important dream, I make sure that I either voice memo it or write it down. And then also, there may be something really valuable in an idea that you need to present. So in meetings and conversations this week, speak up, share your points of view, and advocate for sort of like equal footing when it comes to how much you can talk. Because so often there's like one person that hogs the entire table and not everyone gets a chance. So you could interrupt or you could check in with someone else and say, wait a second, I want to hear more from such and such over here. So if you're facilitating, make sure that everybody gets their equal moment. Don't be overly harsh on yourself this week, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. You're doing better than you think. Listen, tune in, and you might observe something, much like the previous set of signs, that you didn't see, provided that you're not too hard on yourselves. Okay, moving on from Earth to air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have 7 of Pentacles energy coming through for you. This is recovery and growth. It often comes through after a period of lack or after a period of stress or strain. Financially speaking, there's an encouragement here not to overdo it. And we see her baking bread or making things. And whenever you're cooking, you have to make sure things are done. So one thing that we want to do is make sure that we're not rushing something out into the world until it's fully grown or fully baked. So ideas and projects might need a little more time. Your expenditures might need a little bit more pulling in. And when it comes to recovery in the body, it takes more time than you're probably wanting, but slow and steady is also very sustainable. So find your pacing, lean on the discernment that we already learned with the 6 of Pentacles, and you're well on your way to 8, 9, and 10, which are really good cards. So this is just a moment of being patient and allowing the growth and recovery to take place, or whatever it is that you're creating and developing to fully grow. Okay? A good week, but I feel like it's the end of the week where things really start to flourish for you. So give yourself time and pacing towards the beginning of the week. And definitely look at health and finances. Those are 2 things that can absolutely benefit under the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, moving on to water, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We have the Queen of Wands. She's in the reverse position. In the upright position, she is magical. She's tuned in. She can see beyond the obvious. In the reverse position, however, she tends to fixate on things that have worked, not things that might. We want to get into the inventive, imaginative, sort of like inspirational energy of the upright Queen of Wands. And if there's a problem in front of you, think to yourself, I've got this. And what I often do in the face of challenge or failure or someone not believing in me, it'll sit with me for a second or two, and then I kind of change it to this. I'll show you. I'll show you by succeeding. Ye of little faith, let me show you how and why I can do this. So you can take something that's challenging and get motivated and use that sort of stubbornness to your advantage. But do try to keep an open heart and open mind on different perspectives and different methods. There's more than one way to make this happen, okay? Let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk about. The other thing is, just because it hasn't been done doesn't mean that it can't be. Sometimes the Queen of Wands, when reversed, she needs to see it to believe it. She's a skeptic, but we want to get her into the believer, which is the upright version. So all things that are involved with research and development had to start from a place of this isn't here yet, but I want it. I need it. I think it might be possible. So everything starts somewhere. And it's like the chicken and the egg. You want the chicken, but it has to start first with that beginning, that moment of creation. So get into the creative energy this week and talk to experts too. There might be a way that's right there in front of you. I do feel like there's a lot of hidden sort of shadow energy coming through this week that we can all work through and transmute. All right. Let's pivot and take a look at the special topic for today. While we're doing this, I said we were going to. Let's stand up for a second if you can. See if I can pull this with me. Just kind of like stretch for a moment. And I'd like, before we get into this part of the reading, just take a moment to let things go. So put your feet on the ground like I'm doing if you can. If there's any sort of stress or strain that you're holding on to in your body, let it go. And set an intention for what it is that you really need some guidance with right here and right now. This is the moment for us to let it go and to really move on to something bigger, better, and brighter. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to enter into the special topic for today, which is the compass. Which way next? And there may be more than one way, and I'll do my best to identify that. All right. For some reason, let me see if I can shift it. No. Yeah, one of my buttons isn't working, so you're not going to see me when I work on the table. We're not worried about that today. We're taking things one step at a time, and Spirit wants us to focus. All right. Let me see which deck I would like to use. I'm going to use this one here. While I'm getting everything set up, I'd like you to reconnect with your version of source. So see a circle of light around your body. And in that circle of light, welcome in angels, spirit, and your higher ascended masters as well. All right, let's begin. All right, let's begin with your catalyst for this portion of the reading. Catalyst connects you to the necessary movements, and it's almost like your North Star or your compass rose here pointing to the right direction. So this is going to help us quite a bit. So we have the owl, we have the word wisdom attached to the owl, and it's reminding us to basically lean into the moment just a little bit, to really focus on not immediately jumping to a decision or a conclusion, but rather giving yourself the time necessary to inform yourself, to make an informed leap of faith. The other thing with this is you might be working with a mentor or a trusted person in your life that can also yield that wisdom. We have Athena here, actually. She was almost impossible to see against the owl, and the owl is her companion in mythology. So I've used owls enough as totems to kind of remember certain things about them. They are quiet. They've evolved to have a feather system that basically it allows them to kind of swoop in without making any noise. So that helps make them an apex predator or hunter. Their eyesight is basically tuned for evening. And I think their hearing's decent as well. Their heads also can see, like they can turn their necks almost, 180 degrees, like 170 or something like that. So, it's almost like fully around. They can't go completely because that would not work. But this is about looking in all the directions. Northeast, south, and west. Go in the cardinal directions. Make sure you're not missing something. Listen, watch, and tune in, and then something could happen subtly or quietly. And sometimes a quiet change is just as powerful as one with a lot of noise and announcements and bells and whistles. So you may be making a subtle or quiet change or evolution. Someone around you might. And before you know it, whatever it is that you're looking for is kind of swept into your life, and it's right there. So I get that there's going to be something surprising in the nature that a person, place, or thing shows up. Also, it's a competitive card. So if you need or want something, seize the moment. All right? All right. Let's move on to the next part of this. Yeah, for some reason I lost one of my buttons, but I will put it back afterwards. We're not going to worry about that today. Okay. So we have the Hierophant at this, and I'm sorry, yes. We have the Emperor at the center of this. The Emperor is really about creating, no, it is the Hierophant. It's just called out differently in this deck. That's right. Because we have the green man and green woman as the Emperor and Empress. So organization is going to be one of the most challenging things that you can do in this moment in time. I feel like some of you want to get organized in a different way, shape, or form than people expect you to. And we have the ancestors coming through to help you. I recently had a dream where they were there telling me to do what I just did, to stand up, to move more, to focus on my legs, like to just get circulation going. But I had this sort of image where there was this building of, it was like a liminal space where all my ancestors were there looking at me, instructing me on certain things. Sometimes they come through in dreams like that, but other times, like I mentioned, it could be a billboard, an advertisement, song, or a person. Pay attention this week. I strongly feel the presence of loved ones around you. A pet, a parent, a child, a friend, a partner. You are being guided. And one of the things that they're conveying is get organized. Create a schedule that you can keep. Stick to that schedule. This is something that is going to help you really lean into the energy of creativity and creation, okay? Crossing this card, we have Queen of Cups, and she's going upstream on this card. So sometimes change can feel a little bit discombobulating, a little bit difficult. And that's okay. You're still going to get there. It's worth the struggle. So salmon goes upstream to spawn. And so there might be a moment this week that makes you feel like, gosh, this is an uphill battle. But it's still worth the energy and worth the time, so don't give up. That's one thing that I'm getting with this. There could also be something really wonderful, really beautiful coming into your life. And this could be love, friendship, opportunity knocking. And if that is the case, what I would say is don't get in your own way when it comes to this feeling of, am I good enough? Can I do this? Even if you feel like a fish out of water, which is also what we see on this card, that is telling me that you've just finally arrived. You're finally where you need to be. So give yourself time to acclimate, okay? And I believe they go from like saltwater to freshwater. It's something weird that they do. So the environment could feel very alien to you, but I also feel like it's going to be very fruitful because the symbol that's on this Queen of Cups, it's not just about receptivity. It's also about like fertility and abundance. So the little push that you're doing right now is going to help you achieve more of that, more abundance, more productivity. And it's just this little push in front of you that is going to require a leap of faith, because that's also what the fish is doing there. All right, let's look at your deep past. This is what's possibly getting in the way. So we have, literally it reads frustration on this card. We have this, I think it's a goat, trying to avoid all of the arrows here. So arrows are swords in this deck, and again, the card was reversed. Someone might say or do something purposely, because the Five of Swords is a tricky card, to get in under your skin, to try to get a reaction from you, because they feed off of that energy of you sort of ruffling your feathers or just sort of fighting with them. So don't take the bait. This person is actually like dodging the messages. Very rarely do I think that avoidant energy is good, but there is a time and place where if someone is cruel, if someone is negative, if someone doesn't listen or is just trying to shake your confidence, don't take the call. Don't talk to them. Don't reply. Focus on getting your footing, getting everything where it needs to be, and dodge those arrows. It isn't worth it. You need to be as razor focused to succeed as they are for you to get off path. There could also just be someone in your life that isn't ready to listen. If you need to say something but someone consistently isn't showing up, they've kind of already communicated that they're not in it for the long haul. For you, this can also be the inner saboteur coming through. And what the saboteur could say, it's the voice in your head, is demotivating thoughts. This won't happen. You're silly to go after this. You never get it together. It's all of the things where you're like your own worst enemy. And none of them are true. None of them are accurate fully anyway. They're biased towards the energy of shadow or failure. So be kinder to yourself and stay instead, like I'm ready for a significant shift. I don't believe in what you're saying. I reject the narrative. That's a good way to cord cut. So if there is somebody in your life that is spewing a lot of negativity, I also think, by the way, it's more a reflection of them and what they're going through, and sometimes their jealousy. So you can just think to them, thank you for the mirror and the reveal. I now see my own path and my own intuition more clearly, okay? Just like I'm cleaning my glasses. Sometimes we have to clean out our mind just a little bit. Coming through is one of the most powerful, and I really love, I think this is one of the cutest cards in this deck. We have the bear coming through, the mama bear, Queen of Pentacles. She's protecting her baby. Her baby can be something she's working on. It can be personal development that she's not ready to share with the world. It can literally be a child. There's something that you're working on that it's pretty much done, but it may not be ready for prime time for everyone else to kind of like give their comments on just yet. You need to sit with it and really build up your thick skin and think to yourself, no matter what someone says, I did it. And I needed to do this on a soul level. Go back to school, break up, focus on sobriety, get fit, talk to a therapist, whatever it is that's self-help for you. It's no one's business but your own. And if it's creating a sense of grounding and power and movement, perfect. Chef's kiss. You did exactly what you're supposed to do. And by the way, when you're in the energy, that dance of creation, that is between you and the divine. Don't let other people get in the way until it's got its shape and form and until you're confident with it. Okay? Queen of Pentacles also connected to finally getting a handle on your money, maybe really feeling that you're ready to step into a leadership role, focusing a little bit more on your dwelling, something that I've had to do this past week. I didn't want to burden everyone with it. I'm like, I'll just sort this out. But if you're not safe, I couldn't produce until this was solved and until I knew it was safe enough for me to be here for a few days. So you have to find your safety before you can actually be productive. How's your environment, your living environment, your work environment, your relationship, whatever it is, that should be like a warm blanket around you. If it's not, that's priority number one, okay? Home, heart, and then, of course, finances. Now, taking a look at your crowning energy, we have the Ace of Swords coming through, and it's reminding me of the moon. What is it? Is it Artemis, the name of the new sort of shuttle that they sent up there? But we have, for some of you, a missed window of launch, but that doesn't mean that you can't make it happen. So whenever they try to launch anything, a satellite, a spacecraft, a probe, they have certain windows because they've done the mathematics of when everything's going to be in alignment. it doesn't mean that if you miss the window that it won't happen again. It just means that you might have to recalibrate. So some of you have missed a launch window. You don't give up. You just do the math and figure out, when else can I make this work? So one misfire does not equal failure. It's still going to launch. That's the message here. And we have breath of life here. The other thing that might be really necessary and beneficial in this moment in time is just to breathe, to take care of yourself and breathe, okay? This is also for some of you, I just get that something was taken too personally. Like there was something that kind of pierced through confidence, or it got into your heart or your head a little bit. And so it's important in this moment in time to let that go and know that that was one person shooting their sort of idea or their arrow at you, but it doesn't have to deflate your balloon, okay? The window was missed, but a new one will come through. Tune in and don't give up. Be ready for the next window, okay? It's really just an energy of encouragement right now. Okay, in the near future, we have the stag coming through, and this is reminding you to march to the beat of your own drum. So in this deck, I think they swapped strength and justice. So this would be justice. And we got justice in the weekly spread because the Woodward comes through here, and so 8 and 11 are swapped. So it's going to be very important for you to stand up for what's important to you and just articulate it. And what we see someone here doing is almost blocking the way and saying, wait a second, we need to deal with this first, or I'm not ready to move forward until this is resolved. This is going to be very important in negotiations. This is going to be very important in basically just your general happiness and well-being. So don't give up. Don't forget your power and your strength. I'm going to pull the traditional card here. Like I said, they kind of changed these up on us a little bit. But I'm going to pull both because I feel like it has the energy of both. Just whenever these are swapped like that, I want to talk about it. So the joint message of this would be you have the power and the strength to speak up, and it's also really powerful to say no. So you don't have to push your will through. All you have to do is really set into expectation what it is that you want and that what you need. So speak up, put it on the table, and that clarity and confidence is going to win someone over when it wouldn't before. Because if you're tentative, if you're kind of like, well, maybe, or I don't know, they're going to take advantage of that, okay? All right. But we're not going to let them. All right, things are moving on. Things are moving forward. Maybe not at the speed that you wanted, but they're moving nonetheless. So the caption on this one reads transition. There's a lot of wind in the sails, but with the card in reverse, the wind could be taken out of the sails. Something or someone could be taking your mojo, your breath, or your energy away, and you're reclaiming it. So that's a big part of this, is not to let something get in under your skin. But in the reverse position, a couple of things that I'd like to talk about. One, you may need to go back and address something, fix something before you go forward. Think of a flat tire in a car. You have to pull the car over, use the jack, put on the temporary, and then get to a repair station, like a garage. You can't keep traveling on the journey with even the spare. It will ruin the alignment of your car. So sometimes you take a pause and you fix something so that you can go the distance. In a ship, there could be a leak. You might have to fix one of the sails. You pause, you anchor, you get that fixed first, then you move forward. And that's how I'm reading this, is a reparation or some sort of an improvement that is going to help you in the long run. So a launch window was missed, but a new one is coming. You might have something like a flat tire or a delay, but that didn't stop the ship or the car or your energy from moving. It just means take care of it now before it blows up and makes something bigger than it needs to be. The other thing here is you may decide to go back to something. This isn't it. I tried it. I think I'm going to go back and do that instead. You can change your mind. You can change your course at any point in your life. You are free to decide. Okay? There could be some delays if you are traveling, by the way. So make time and energy for that. Obviously, We're still having some crazy travel stuff going on in the US, but just in general, itineraries could be shifted. In the environment, we have the King of Arrows or the Kingfisher coming through on this. So there could be a lot of noise is what I'm picking up on, like one voice in particular that's coming above the rest. In a positive sense, this could be a voice of reason in your mind. But I'm also getting like people at a table and someone shouting, even though this is an upright card. So the loudest voice isn't always the best voice. And the delivery matters. You can say something gently but firmly, and it really, really hits home, because if you're bombastic, if you are curt, or if you're rude, it's not going to be something that people listen to. So pay attention to the person that might be acting up and do the opposite. Lead with a gentle but very clear and very... you can be gentle and assertive. No, we're not going to do that. Nah, that's not going to happen. That is someone who's just saying, I've been there, I've done that. You can try with someone else, not me. You don't have to yell. No, like there's nothing... Save your vocal cords, save your breath. Use a soft sort of approach towards things, and that is going to win more of an audience for you. Consistency, clarity, and honesty, and not yelling. I'm getting a soft voice with this King of Swords, which isn't something that I always would. And I think it's kind of coming from the illustration too. There's so many examples right now of negativity in the world. One thing that you can bring, and when I think of birds, it's something beautiful, or the beautiful bells. I don't mind hearing church bells behind me. That's kind of nice. But if you can bring something harmonious, something that actually is like a welcome change to the cacophony of negativity that's out there and chaos, that also can win you over, or win people over. So create something beautiful and use your voice in the best possible way. Okay, here we go again. There's a lot of consistency in this reading. We have the Seven of Pentacles. They focused almost exclusively on the healing energy. So I mentioned it can be healing for the body, but it can heal finances. It can heal karma. It can heal relationships. But what it does require is a little bit of faith, hope, and surrender. And take time to meditate and connect with Source. I've had examples in my own life, including this, which continues to get, like, it's almost completely recovered. I was experiencing some eustachian tube dysfunction, but it's almost gone. And I know it will be, because I keep holding in my mind, I can't wait for the morning that I wake up and nothing's wrong. My hearing came back, and everything else is continuing to shift. I'm also making positive changes in my life, eating well, exercising, doing things that reduce inflammation. So I approach it from all angles. And that's one thing that we can do with the compass, is how you feel, how you think, what you do from a medical perspective, and then also what you do from an energetic perspective. Because it is all the directions, not just one. I would say the error that happens often in Western, not just medicine, but like even like when we're looking at business and other things, is we're only focusing on fixing it right here and right now, but not going to the root cause, and we're impatient. So this is saying you have to be patient. It took months, like literally months, for this to pretty much heal. It started in September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. It took me about 7 months to fully heal my body. I never gave up on it though. And I had an intuitive friend that didn't have faith that it would happen. I'm like, no, I actually know it will. And so I will sometimes, like I said, use negativity and just say, that's your thought. That's not mine. That's your path. That's your interpretation. I'm allowed to have my own. So you are allowed to have your own positive interpretation of a possibility in your future. You have to when it's your body. People that have gone through difficulty, like having, whether it's like an autoimmune disorder or cancer or losing a limb or having brain damage, there's so much that the body can do to bounce back. And you have to believe that you can bounce back and prove the doctors wrong. So prove them wrong, okay? Lean into the power of miracles and find your own way to health and well-being. I'm not saying discard medicine. I'm saying don't let one doctor saying this is all you can do hold you back. Get up multiple opinions and ask yourself, is there a way that I can sort of like in my own healing capacity surprise myself and surprise them? That's just one belief based on textbooks that were written a while ago. We're still learning about things. So combine Eastern and Western and use your own natural healing to go beyond what the limit feels like, in medicine. Because back before we had all of that, we had healers, which is what we see here. You can heal yourself. You can heal your heart. Let's not say you have a broken heart. Let's say you have a mending heart. Let's not say you have a broken foot. Let's say your foot's starting to mend. We're healing. We're building. We're recovering. We're rebounding. Let's not focus on the brokenness of it, if you will. Okay, and then finally, the moon. The moon is encouraging you to trust your instincts and not always do what's expected or what you've been told to do. Not to not follow the rule book, but sometimes the road less traveled is the best road for you, right? I also love the Tauran symbol on there, stubbornness and grounding in the energy of something that's very watery like the moon. At least in tarot, it's a water symbol. So you may be needing to kind of like dig your feet on the ground. So what I do between readings is like a little HIIT workout on my Apple Fitness. It's like 10 minutes. And I take a moment to like shake it all out. And then I ground myself. I put my feet on the ground and I really breathe. And I let everything go. And I have so much energy. I'm like, okay, I can do another reading. That's how I did like 3 the other day. I had to exercise, ground myself, and recharge because, believe it or not, it takes a lot of energy to do this. So I have to kind of recharge. You're going to have to find ways to recharge and regroup. And just like the bull on this card, like Apollo does that. I can't pull him up because my camera's misbehaving right now. But Apollo will do that in his bed. Sometimes he has to ground himself and find his footing. So do that this time in particular. Okay? All right. So I'm going to take a different approach as we go to the extended forecast. And I need to drink while we do this. Each one of these cards is going to represent like a compass message. We're not going to dig deep into all of the little subcategories. That's not what this is about today. So what I think we'll do is look at where are you at? That's the one that I pulled. And then which way next? Because I want to make sure that I'm looking at that. So we'll have a chance to look at the now and the next in each of these. But first, some water. All right, we're going to begin, as always, with health, which is your mind, your body, and your spirit. For health, we have insecurity. I'm laughing at the little devil energy here. He's almost cute. All right. So in health, there's something going on that you're afraid to talk about. This actually makes so much sense in health because we have insecurity around like mental health, for instance. People that need to talk to a therapist but are afraid to reach out for help because of the stigma attached shouldn't be. People that are feeling something going on in their body but don't want to go because they're afraid of like what the doctor may think, like, well, how did this happen? Or they don't want someone to see their body. Like the insecurity is blocking you from a healthy outcome. So move beyond the insecurity or get someone to support you to kind of move beyond it, because sometimes we need the tools to do so. And know that this is just an illusion. The devil energy here wants you to sit in the insecurity and wants you to believe that you did something wrong or bad or that it's worse than you think. Not necessarily. When it came to this, my ear situation, and for those that haven't been on the journey with me, back in September, and I think it might have been from all of this, by the way, but I got a terrible inner ear infection, and I lost hearing for a moment or two. And I went to multiple doctors, and no one could figure it out. And then I found this great ENT who just said, oh, I know exactly what we need to do. You need to get on prednisone, and you need to do this, this, this. And then I worked with intuitives and other people that were like, okay, also you can take this supplement, you can do this, this will help with inflammation. Then I looked at my diet, took out anything that was inflammatory, and then I just kept doing it. And it took 7 months. But I went through like 3 doctors that wanted to do a bunch of, one of them wanted to like put little balloon through my ear and create scar. I'm like, no, that doesn't sound good. I don't think so. No. I kept going around until I found someone that was like, I think we can try so many things before we ever need to do anything surgical. I said, okay, you're the doctor that I want to work with. Look around, and if you don't feel secure and safe with one, that's probably a sign to find another. And you never know what's possible, but it doesn't happen over time. 8 months almost, 8 months. So don't give up on your body's ability to rebound. And you don't even know what it could come fully back, or it could be enough that no one's going to notice, or you're not going to notice. Find what's good for you and keep believing in your body. You don't want to push it, but like, I just kept believing that there could be a shift. We are magical. And if something isn't missing, like if a limb isn't cut off and it's all still connected, there's a lot that we can do in our bodies to create something. I was just listening to like a study of these, are they called like bacterial phages or something? But like, they almost look like something from science fiction, but they can go in and kill bacteria. And it looks like it's a virus that kills bacteria, basically. And so there's these things that kind of exist in nature that can go in and do the magic. I believe that, and I know that for some of you that have been out there that you've been through cancer and you're on the other end now, you know what I'm talking about. You work with your body to heal itself. You imagine that it's starting to do the work. Yes, there's chemotherapy. Yes, there's other things that might be necessary, but you can do your part. And when it's healing bones or healing the ear or healing anything, let's just trust that the body also has a capacity to go in and heal itself in a way that we don't understand. Find a doctor that will work with you and blend the two, the Eastern and the Western. And I'm not a doctor. I'm just speaking from my own experience here. But never underestimate your own body's capacity to work with all of these aforementioned things, okay? Also, this can just be insecurity. 5 of Pentacles energy. Because someone in your life said you're not good enough. That was their opinion. That was their lack of vision. It's not your fault. And you don't have to adopt that as your point of view either, okay? Let's see the next. So we're looking at the compass. How can we move through or transmute the insecurity? The wheel. I like it. Okay. So Wheel of Fortune coming through. This is basically reminding you, like I said, cycles. Takes time. You'll move through this. But the Wheel of Fortune is also, if we think of I kind of want to look at the getting things moving energy of it, because it is something that requires, sometimes the wheel can get stuck a little bit. One thing that you can do is just subtle and gentle movement. So like one thing that I was surprised when I had a broken foot once, one doctor incorrectly put a cast on it. And another doctor said, you got to take that off. It's going to get atrophied. Plus it's too tight. And like you actually want to make sure that I had a very thin fracture. They were like, that's not going to, it'll weaken it a little bit. We actually need to put you into a walking boot instead, and it will be all right. So sometimes you have to move, and you have to move through something, and there could be some stagnation in your life. So simply moving a little bit in the direction will help. And it takes time. Time is the element. The Wheel of Fortune is also like the wheel of time sometimes. So it's like a clock. You're going to reset it. You're going to set the motion into play and then give it time to work. Okay? Patience, persistence, and also finding someone that's invested in you, because this is a money card. You have to invest in your own health, and you need someone else who's invested in you. Okay? A lot of messages that came through for that. And I think one thing that shifted for me since my birthday last year in October is I'm just very much invested in my health and well-being. And I'm exercising and I'm eating better and I'm taking better care of myself, because you have to. So you owe it to yourself to do the same as well. Take care of yourself. Okay, good messages. Let's take a look at wealth. So the message in the now is this. Drop into your heart. Some of you aren't doing what you want. Some of you aren't feeling the love. Some of you are almost closing yourself off to it. And it's interesting because we're looking at wealth, not love. But if you're not happy, you're not going to be able to kind of like connect with your ultimate abundance. You need to love where you're at, who you're working with, or what you're doing. Something has to be energetically connected in the heart, or it's just going to kind of like take more than it gives. It won't be worth the paycheck. So finding some things in your life, if it's not work, then there needs to be an amp up everywhere else. Then you're working to live, and the living really needs to take center stage. More vacations, more saving for a trip or for retirement, like really making sure that you can get something out of that. But I'm going to add on to that. We have no guarantees. Life is never, we don't say life is short. I don't believe in self-fulfilling prophecies, but life is finite. One day we won't be here. So what we want to do is make sure that on that day that there are no regrets. So if you're feeling bored, feeling like I wish I was doing this instead, or how did this happen? Take the regrets and make them into goals. I am going to find a way to do this. This isn't where I want to be, so I'm going to pivot here. I'm going to take a class. I'm going to send out some resumes. I'm going to talk to some people. I'm going to do it. And it may take time like this. It could take days, weeks, or months, but it probably won't take a full year. So when we're looking at the changes, give it time, be patient. I'm not looking at the little tiny details of money today. I'm looking at the big picture stuff. So we're not breaking it down into all the levels. We're looking at the heart. Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Do you feel appreciated? Is this what you came here to do? Do you have enough time in your life for love, for laughter, for joy? Find ways to make sure that those things are happening. Fulfillment, happiness, and joy. If it's at work, fine. If it's not, work is empowering you to do it. So that has to be, one of those two things has to be. So make room for that love and joy. So how can we do it now that we know what we're looking at? Okay. So on this, we have the Eight of Swords. I take issue with the struggle message on here. It may feel like a struggle, but it's actually just that you're not looking enough beyond the present. So I mentioned before, sometimes needing to feel like everything is spelled out for you, right? Well, if I can't see it, is it really happening? The 8 and 9 of Swords are more illusion cards than reality cards. 9 of Swords is when you let stress get the better of you. 8 of Swords is when you feel like you're painted into a corner. This will never happen. I can never do this. Nobody loves me. If you say those things, you make them happen. You've created them. She's not really stuck. These aren't handcuffs. It's cloth. She could actually break free from that. There's nothing blocking her in the foreground. There are some 8 of Swords. I have 2 decks where there's like a bird in a bird cage, and the door is open and the top is open. Very similar thoughts from different authors. So think of it as that. We're in a cage, but there's actually no doors, windows, or roof on it. It's just a cage of thought, a prison of thought. So what's really important in this moment is to, and I have a friend of mine, I'll shout him out here, Michael, who always tells me, Nicholas, what if it doesn't have to be a struggle? This is very much Piscean, not like Pisces, but like the last era. This is very like 20th century. No pain, no gain. You know my mantra, no pain, no pain. We don't need pain as a teacher. It's one teacher. It's not the best. It's not the only. It's not my favorite. So what if joy is a teacher, love is a teacher, synchronicity can be a teacher, surprise can be a teacher? Why not go to those instead? They're a hell of a lot more fun, pardon my French. So this is telling you to release this old archetype of struggle. You don't have to... Work doesn't have to be painful. It is work, but there can be joy in the work. If it's not joyful, if there's something about it that just is depleting, it's time to pivot. Also, just because you didn't see yourself doing something as a kid, as a 20-something, as a 50-something, whatever age you're at, it doesn't mean that you can't do it at any age or stage of life. Until we take our final breath, we are learning, we are growing, we are exploring new things. So it's never too late to go back to school. It's never too late to quit your job. It's never too late to start a company. It's never too late to say, I quit. Whatever it is that you want to do. It's now. It's not obvious, but it's now. What I'm doing is not what I thought I'd be doing when I was 15, 20, 25, 30, 40. Like it does. it comes later in your life sometimes, the big aha. So give yourself ample time to figure out who you are. And guess what? You're going to be figuring it out your entire life. You're going to continue to say, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to do this. Isn't that wild? That's a better way to do it, actually. Isn't that wild? Isn't this fun? Isn't this unexpected? Let's also avoid the sanest phrase, isn't this crazy? No, that's not how to do that. Isn't this unexpected? Isn't this exciting? Isn't this wild? It's not crazy. We are taught to think that. And crazy is not a good word, but it's something that's in the vernacular. So I'm using it here as an example. It's unexpected. And I think life is meant to be unexpected. Otherwise, it's boring. So embrace the unexpected. That's how you get out of what you're in, okay? Let's look at love. This is beautiful. So for love, we got freedom. Love should be freedom, by the way. I feel like there's probably like a saying or a bumper sticker or a song, but love is freedom. Loving someone should be a freeing sort of experience, and unconditional love is freeing. You really want to create space in the core relationships in your life. Some of you might be newly single, newly divorced, newly widowed, whatever, and you're feeling that energy of freedom. But you might also be in a relationship where you feel like, wow, this person really allows me to be myself. That can also be freeing. That's actually like the ultimate energy of the lovers, is I can be myself and it's more than enough for you or for me. So and same thing, like we just love each other as we are. That's what you're aiming for in friendships, in mentorships, in lover and sort of partnership energies. Give people the freedom to learn, to love, to laugh, to make mistakes, and give them space. You might just need some space right now too. All right, so with that being said, let's see what you need to do to get out of whatever kind of might be sticking you or blocking you from getting into that energy of freedom. I love this. Okay, so this is a communal take on the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands sometimes can be a discombobulating card, and it's also very abstract. You just see wands flying through the air like rockets, right? In this one, they've decided to come back down to earth and gather. And they're inspiring each other. So the hearth fire, everybody's got their arrows and their bows here, but they're taking a moment to celebrate. We actually even see someone, putting their hand on someone else's back. They're raising their cups. They're saying, look at what we've done. Look at how far we've come. Make some time for community in your life. So we're not looking so much at just one-on-one energy. We're looking at friends, family, coworkers, community, neighbors, church, temple, wherever you're going to find your version of community. For some of you, you may not have it yet, so you're going to build it, or you may have lost touch with it, so you're going to reconnect with it. When you're in that energy of community, it also lifts up your heart. And you're like, oh, okay, I found my tribe. It's not always, and probably usually isn't your family. Sometimes there's one or two people in that familial tribe that feels good, but usually the tribe is the chosen family. The friends, the neighbors, the people that you meet along the way. Make some time to foster those relationships and spend time with people around you that allow you to be yourself, where you're free to be you. You don't have to worry about perfect hair, perfect outfit, makeup, jewelry, whatever it is, all the accoutrements that mean absolutely nothing and that actually mask our true selves. They like you just the way you are, and that feels good. And we need to find that energy. More of that right now is what we're leaning into, okay? Okay. Take time to slow down a little bit from the hustle and the bustle, which is the Eight of Wands, which is like one of the most productive cards you can get. But in this card, they're saying there are people behind all of that. What I've seen in my time on this planet is the dehumanization of work. And so we get lost. I know we're looking at relationships, but I'm old enough that I've seen computers enter into schools and the workforce. I saw the beginning of the internet. I saw the smartphones enter into the workforce and I've seen AI, and it's like I've watched multiple throughout all the decades that I've lived on this planet. dating and aging myself, but I've seen it all happen, but I've seen people become less connected. It's ironic. We're all here today, 500 plus of us, spending time with each other. I know a lot of people are at church and whatnot today, and they'll catch it on the replay. But despite this really cool thing, I wouldn't know half of you if it weren't for YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or wherever you're tuning in from. But we also feel less connected because when I was a kid, there was no internet. And I didn't even have a computer until I was maybe in the third grade, second grade. I don't know. It was later. No, it was later than that. It was actually like fifth grade. So there was a good part of my life where I was disconnected, but I had so much more fun because I would call my friends up. We would talk. We would hang out. We would play for hours. We would study together. It was just interpersonal connection, and we would look at each other. There was no phone to distract us. So it feels like this is a time to find organic moments where you can do more of that. I can feel all of your energies. I look at this camera and I know you're there because I've been doing this long enough, but it isn't quite the same as hanging out with people in real life. So make time for more of that. We don't have to give up the wonderful technology. I don't think I'd want to. But we also don't need to always be plugged in. So take some time to have real life connections. Okay? Okay. Finally, let's look at your destiny card. And we have remembrance. Oh my gosh, you know how I feel about these paragraphs. Bear with me. The frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul in the body. So in other words, it's good to have these memories, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. I don't know if any of that was necessary. Let me see. Yeah, that's just stating the obvious. So we're just going to go to remembrance, and I'm going to do my own on this. I honestly feel, for any of the deck creators out there, 5 to 7 words. Keep it short. Readers don't want to read a paragraph. I don't want that, and I don't want it that small. All right, so remembrance. I think what we could look at here is kind of like the energy of Janus, which is the two-faced god that would sit at the basically the portal of ends and beginnings in Roman mythology. So this is a moment to use context. Like, memories provide context. They help us understand why we are here. They help us see how far we have come. They also sometimes remind us of what we might have lost and what we might want to regain. I think that's the power of memories. So it provides context. It helps us see who we are, and it helps us remind us what we need to protect or kind of kindle into our lives. So that's my take instead of that paragraph. So what can we do to honor that energy of remembrance? Okay, so we have King of Cups in reverse. A good laugh and a good cry can help a lot, actually. In the upright position, this is about receptivity, but when it's reversed, it's saying, I need to let it out. I need to let it go. Sometimes if I need a good cry, I'll watch a really sad movie or like one that's bittersweet. There's a Robin Williams movie called What Dreams May Come. It's about the afterlife. I don't think you can watch it without crying if you're empathic. So every time I watch it, I cry. But it's usually a good feeling. I love the sort of journey that they take in that. Movies like Dead Poets Society or Still Magnolias or wherever there's a lot of, like in Still Magnolias, a lot of comedy, but there's some sadness. There's a death in the movie, and that punctuates things. But at the very end, oddly enough, it's an Easter movie because they end on Easter. So there's also like a birth of a child too. So sometimes we need to get that out. I need to stop talking about these movies because I want to cry when I think about them. But that's sometimes what we need to do is remember those that have passed. We need to laugh. We need to cry. We need to get in touch with our emotions. Because so much of modern society is just push it back in. No, I think it's good sometimes to read a sad book, to listen to a sad song, to watch a sad movie, or a bittersweet one, or a comedy that's tinged with the sadness. What was the other one? Inside Out. oh my gosh, if you don't cry on that one, I don't know what's going on. That's the one where you see all the emotions in the head and you see that there is an importance to sadness. It plays a very pivotal role. And I don't know why I need to talk about it, but as I'm talking about this, some of you are sad today, and I'm picking up on the sadness or the remembrance of something or someone lost. Those movies can heal you too, because we don't give ourselves permission to just cry. But when we watch that, it helps us tap into the sadness. And, you know, the Four of Swords today was super appropriate for a day that's connected to death and resurrection. Again, I'm cosmically spiritual, but I still ride the spiritual energy of the Easter sort of like resurrection energy that we're all connecting to today. So I was like, Four of Swords. As I went to bed, I'm like, oh yeah, it's also about death and rebirth. I'll just talk about that tomorrow. Sometimes we are putting the final chapter to something, putting something to rest. And this might be that final phase for you of letting go. And I did mention in the daily that there's no expiration date or right or wrong amount of grief. I would say if it goes beyond decades, it's, you know, but like with grief, what you learn to do is incorporate it into your life. It becomes a part of you. It doesn't define you, and things grow around it. It's kind of like this deep well that is never going to be fully filled, but you can have flowers around the well. You can build other structures around it. Your life goes on, and you honor that. And sometimes you go to the well and remember, but it's not the end all be all. So go through whatever it is in your life that you need to transition or move through, and know that it will get better. It does get better. We're actually like minus 2 days because I think my mom died on the 3rd. It's 4 years to this period of time. She died around Easter. That I'm finally better. I'm finally okay, but it took me 4 years. So just like this took about 8 months, it took about 4 years for the heart to heal there. And for anybody that's lost a parent, a child, a pet, a partner, you know it takes time. But you eventually get on the other side. So if anything, honor the memory, laugh a little bit, cry a little bit. This too shall pass, okay? All right, let's, you guys helped me. I feel like we've talked about so much, but I'm going to help with this because I think we met our goal. So let me see what I said we were going to do. Renewal and reinvention. Okay, I like that. This will be a good way to end the reading today. So what I'm going to do is clean off the table here and choose a different deck. And we're going to see renewal and reinvention. Thank you, everybody, for allowing us to accomplish that. All right. Let's see what needs to be renewed, and let's see how you can lean into the energy of reinvention. Renewal. Ooh, I love it. Okay. And reinvention. And I'm just going to use tarot cards to tell us the story on this. Past, present, future. Past, present, future. Okay. I really wish my little inset would work here. Let me see if I can create that. I think it just got deleted for some reason. Overlay. Let's see. I can't. It's okay. It doesn't matter. All right. So we're going to start off first with the energy of renewal. So for the energy of renewal, what did I say? It was, I need to look at this. So I have the right one that I'm looking at. Hold on. Yeah, renewal first. Okay. So in the energy of renewal, the first thing coming through is the Fool. You can't get more on the nose than the Fool. So in order to step into renewal, and you know, we can infer that from renewal, you're going to have to release some things. It's one step at a time. So I love that we have this witch on this deck because she's going to take flight. You may not believe it, but it's going to happen. She has this cute little cat right behind her too. So things may start off slowly, but at some point, like a plane taking off, it's going to happen faster than you think. It's just the beginning. The countdown, the takeoff, that feels a little slow, that feels a little bumpy, but I do feel like smooth sailing is around the corner. Take a step today if you feel like it. Historically, when we look at the deep past, we have the Four of Wands in the reverse position. One of the things that could be holding you back from entering into your renewal is peer and familial pressure and expectations, because these can also bind us in place. Know that if you are happy and successful, the people that love you unconditionally should support you no matter what, okay? I feel like many of you don't know where to begin. So there's a feeling of being overwhelmed. This lady's kind of looking out there saying, honey, make a decision. And she's like, well, maybe I'll have some of that, or what about this? So it's good to be kind of in the candy store for a second, thinking about all the things, but you can't have everything at once anyway. We don't want to limit possibilities, but you want to focus on the one thing that really feels like it lights up your heart space, okay? Now is the time not to get lost in thought. Ask a question if you need to, dream a little bit, but then keep the momentum going from this Fool card, okay? And as we look at the next step to help you with the energy of renewal, rewrite your book. You know, that's one of my topics that I'll put on every 3 or 4 months. Flip the script, rewrite your ending. So again, very much, I was getting advice from someone and they gave me almost like a finality, sort of like, this is all that you can have, or this is what's, I'm like, I don't like the way you stated that, is what I thought. So if you don't like what someone has given to you as your final chapter, rip it up, write a new one. This is really what you should be entering into. So rewrite your arc. You're not the villain, you're the heroine or the hero. You're not failing, you're the one that has the redemption arc. Rewrite it and then step into it. I don't know who in your life might have told you that you couldn't, wouldn't, shouldn't, but that was their voice. So you're just gonna change it up. You're never too old, you're never too young. Scratch through all of those thoughts and words. Cut the cord between the people, the environments, the society connections that have told you that you can't. Thanks, but no thanks. That doesn't resonate. I no longer need this. I release you with love and light. And then state your truth unequivocally into the universe and say, this is what I am going to do. And if you're feeling even bold, this is who I am. That I am piece is really strong to put in anything. I am successful. I am rebounding. I am renewing. And I'm starting it today. I may not be finishing it today, but I'm starting it today, and I'm continuing it tomorrow, and I'm continuing it the day after that. We don't have to have it perfect. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to revise and edit. So the steps in renewal are to release familial pressure, to get clear on what you want to do and rewrite it, and then just take a step in that direction. But everything here is supporting you. We don't have a devil, a tower, a 10 of swords. Okay? So I like that. All right. I also mentioned reinvention. I'm just making sure that I've got the right words. Yes. So reinvention. Now that you know what's going on, and also it's a hint of are you on in the right direction. So the first answer is an emphatic yes. So we have a bountiful King of Pentacles. He's got his cake and he's eating it too. He's got the wine. He's got some sort of a bowl in the background. He's got a lot of things going on. This is opulence. If I had to think of the gaudiest, most opulent, I'm talking about like G-U-A-D-Y, however you spell gaudy that way. It's over the top. We sometimes want that to smack us across the third eye and say, this is the right thing. King of Pentacles is telling me you're in a good direction. But pay attention to loyalties, keep your feet on the ground, and I feel like you've got this. You can have it all sometimes. But you have to kind of like pace yourself and keep your grounding. Okay, so by the way, this can be, for some of you, building something new. The King of Pentacles is really good at building things. Houses, businesses, curriculums, and he's someone that people seek for like knowledge and wisdom. So teaching, mentorship, entrepreneurial energy. And I have the bull in the background, or the ox in the background, is telling me financially bullish, even though we're kind of, who knows what the heck is going on with the economy, the world economy, with all that's going on that we're not going to talk about today, but it's a mess. So this is showing that you want to be focusing on 3, 5, and 10 years down the line, because this moment will pass and you have to think about how to ride the economic wave. It's happened before. Talk to someone that's been through this. In this past century, we've had a great recession. So we've been through that kind of energy before, recent past. So learn from what's gone on and focus on 10 years out. You can't do it all in the here and the now. Okay. Now let's look at this. Past, present, future. So we have 2 pages right by each other here. The swords is basically more about like sketching it out. Wands is getting lost in thought just a little bit. So we're kind of veering back into the indecisive energy. Trust your gut, trust your instinct. And I'm looking at all 3 of them, the gecko, the cat, and the wizard there. Everybody's looking like, who's on first? Who's making the decision? You're making the decision. So take your energy and move from the page to the night is what I would say. Nobody can decide but you. And the card of empowerment is next. So once you've decided, things start to move into motion. Magician requires belief, focus, and follow through on all of this. And also, I also believe that less is more with the magician too, okay? Here's what's going to help you lean into all of this new version of you. We have Hierophant energy in the reverse position. And in the reverse position, it's basically saying, there's more than one way to do this. You're breaking free from previous structures, maybe even that you've built for yourself. You've achieved a certain level of success, you've done certain things, but in order to grow, you're going to have to kind of like draw outside of the box, outside of the lines a little bit, okay? So give yourself time and space to do just that. Seek out new people with like more, I would say, modern take on how to do things. Keep it inventive, keep it out of the box. And remember what I said earlier, you can kind of use the phrase, isn't that unexpected? Isn't that unusual? I feel like that's the key to success right now. But overall, I like what I'm seeing here. And I think that the biggest challenges for some of you is not going into this energy of what is expected, not giving too much weight to this sort of confusion or overwhelming stage here, and simply to step into it. I see a preview, it's going to be good, but you have to be consistent each day. You have to commit to it and then focus and really put it into practice. This is the takeoff. This is the like in-flight energy. And then you're kind of disrupting the norm and the status quo. There's more than one way to get something done. You're coming through with that unusual path, okay? I'm starting to lose my voice, so we need to wrap up for today. We'll take a moment here just to do a quick meditation. I'd like you to close your eyes for a moment, place your hands on your heart, breathe in and exhale. All right. In your heart space, I'd like you to plant one positive thought about yourself. I am, and think about one of the blessings that you bring into this world. And then I would like you to also open yourself up to receive love, appreciation, abundance, opportunity, all of this and then some in the highest forms from the cosmos, from the universe, from the divine. Allow yourself to be receptive in the week ahead. There is no failure, only experience, only context. There is no blocks, only pauses that allow us to see a new or better path. And imagine that you're taking your first step on that better path today. Love and forgive yourself for anything that might have come to pass that wasn't what you wanted it to be, or if you didn't feel you were your best version of yourself, let it go. Put your hands in your lap and just allow your mind, body, and spirit to be at peace for a moment and to receive a blessing from your higher self, from the collective. And on the next natural exhale, think of one final question that you have for me. We'll pull that card and then we'll wrap up. So we have Five of Pentacles. If you ask a yes or no, it's a no. It's a no because there's either some confidence or self-worth that needs to be dealt with, or the opportunity doesn't match your energy. Typically, this is break even or less. So in business, in relationship, etc., the other person has some healing to do. So do you. In a job, You're going to be working more than you need to. Really, the big takeaway from this, it's more nuanced than a yes or no, but it's leaning towards the no on this. Today is a day to focus on self-care, very much leaning into some of what I said for the main daily card, but self-care, looking at some relationships in your life that don't provide what you need, and cutting the cords and saying, I'm going to invest a lot less in that. I need to take care of myself. I need to do better with my time, energy, and money allocations. That is going to give you what you need to get into the balance card of the Six of Pentacles, okay? Stretch. I'm going to do it right after this reading. I'm going to walk the dog and do my workout after that. Stretch your legs, get your feet moving, get your legs moving, never skip leg day. That was something my mom told me in spirit, so I'm going to convey that to all of you. We don't move basically from the lower part of the spine down enough sometimes. So take care of yourself, okay? All right. Well, today was kind of magical, I think. It was one of those readings that sticks out. I knew it would be because I'm like, this is kind of a powerful portal day. We had 4/4 yesterday, which I actually felt like I stepped into a new timeline. I don't know about you. But with the rebirth and resurrection energy today, I already knew it was going to be emotional, intense, and powerful. If you like this, if you liked what I did here, do me a favor and subscribe. Share the video, share the love, let other people know that this is cool. I wouldn't be here without your love, support, and advocacy, so please do that. I do a free newsletter every couple months, or sometimes quarterly. When I have something to say, I post it, but it's also good if something really important is going to be announced. So sign up for the newsletter. It's on my website. This is my website, nicholasashbaugh.com. From there, you can give back through PayPal. You can book a private reading if you'd like to. All my official social media links, which are basically just my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, are all listed there. And feel free to join me. If you would like to show some love and support here, so many of you have already done it, but you can do it with a sticker, super sticker, super chat, or a membership. And now let's get into the fun part where I get to say thanks. Thank you to everybody that showed up for today's reading. You made it magical, and I had a great time. So thank you for that. I'd like to also give some gratitude to everybody that gave back, and I'm going to do that right now. By the way, thanks for the patience. Nobody complained about the timeline of the videos. I'm pushing. I need to take a nap after this to rest, but I'll try to get another 2 up today, and then like three or whatever's left. I'll try to get them all done this week before I relocate, if I can, but I might have to do it during relocation. So life happens. Thanks for being patient. All right. Thank you to the following. Sam Murphy, thanks for being a member and giving a sticker today. You started it off. I appreciate that. Thank you to Wendy. Have a happy Sunday to yourself as well. Thank you, Yoga Rising. Thank you, Created by Deanne. Also, I appreciate you being a brand new member. Welcome. Let's see, Stylish Gromit. Thank you so much. And wait, all the way from South Africa. Thank you for watching. I'm glad that this is helpful and it's a beacon of light. That means a lot. Thank you. Jamie McCormick, good to see you again. Thanks for being a member and for the sticker. Sugar Shaker, thank you so much for being a member and for the sticker. Eslyn, good to see you again. Thanks for being a longtime member and for the sticker. And Walk, hello, glad you could make it. Thank you for the sticker and for being a part of this every weekend and being a member. Let's see, Sunny, I think it is. Sunny, thank you so much for all your contributions in chat today and also for the sticker. Let's see, Jackie DeVilliers, thank you for being a very long time member. I can see it in the crown there, and for your sticker as well. Let's see, Yolanda, thank you for your sticker. Blue Butterfly, thanks for being a member and for your sticker. 37 months, oh my gosh, congratulations, S. Lynn. I'm very happy that you've been here for so long, and it's good to see you every week. I appreciate it. Sam Murphy, thank you one more time for another sticker and again for that membership. Let's see. I think it's Darcy Vea. I don't know. Dar. I'm just going to say Dar. Dar, thank you so much for your membership and also for a sticker. And yes, good luck. It's all going to work out. Slowly but surely. Thank you, Ann Walk. Thank you, K and X 420. Good to see you again. Thanks for the sticker and membership. Tenshi, thank you very much for your sticker. And multiple in a row. Thank you, Sage. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe more, but thank you. I see 4 right off the bat. Thank you, Georgia, for your sticker and membership and for another one right after that. Ms. Cindy B, thank you for being a member and for your sticker. And life is finite. I'm glad you like that, right? Popcorn I'm talking to. Because we don't want to speak something into existence. It could be as long as you want, but we don't know. So it's fine. We are guaranteed that it is finite. I have yet to meet an immortal human. Maybe they're out there, but we all typically have a start and stop date. All right, Kala. I'm hungry now. That's probably what's going on. Kala Rogers, thank you so much for your sticker and for your membership. Georgia, thank you again. And thank you again. Georgia, thank you again. MP Lyman, thank you very much for your sticker. Eslyn, thank you again for the sticker and membership. B. Deidre, good to see you. It's been a minute. Thank you for being a longtime member, for being a contributor today, and also for the sticker. I'm glad that you participated. Thank you so much. Sage, thank you very much for your sticker. Let's see. We've got Shelly. Good to see you today. Thank you for the sticker and membership. Jeannie or Jean, thank you for your sticker. Good to see you every weekend. I do see the names and they do clock into my head. Jordan, thank you so much for your sticker. I appreciate it. Sage, thanks again. And for you just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Let's see. Allison, thank you for becoming a member and also for giving a sticker back to back. That means a lot. All right. Thanks, guys. I really, really appreciate your time, your energy, your presence here. It's been a pleasure and an honor to kind of be here for you to facilitate. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. Let me see if I can grab the little one since the camera wasn't working, and we'll end with Apollo. But in the meantime, just a reminder to subscribe if you haven't already. Hey, buddy, they want to see you. Come on. Oh, I know. Apollo. For everybody that got to that waited, you get to see this little sweet guy. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I need to walk with this little one and get some food. So take care of yourselves. We're going to do the same. I'll see you again next weekend. Thank you, Dakota, for your assistance. Have a fantastic week ahead. Bye-bye, guys.